Welcome back. You're watching 1700 and we're now joined by the incredible Strictly D.T, delivering rapid yet smooth, witty lyrics that deal with the intense and vulnerable topics including family, mental health and politics. Strictly D.T has demolished the Melbourne urban hip-hop scene, creating a unique focus of boom-bap styles that nods to the golden era of 90s hip-hop with a modern flair.
Strictly D.T is no stranger to performing. At the very young age of 17, he became a recording artist and a support act for artists such as Mos Def, Common, Pete Rock and CL Smooth.
Produced by one of New Zealand's most prolific DJ and beat makers, Spell, and mixed and mastered by Matty Made It, his new single, Drift Away, delves into the dynamic relationship of two lovers through the thrilling lens of a bank heist.
Strictly D.T's velvetly smooth flow and piercing lyrics propel the story alongside the soul-laden vocals of Cle Morgan. They're back and forth encapsulating the all-too-familiar push and pull of rose-coloured glasses. 1700 is so lucky to be joined by the incredible Strictly D.T to chat about his brand new music. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So you were born in Seattle,
Yes.
but were raised in Perth and now based in Melbourne. Tell us a bit about your journey to the Australian music scene.
Oh, that started so long ago, actually. I actually started at the age of 12 writing poems, rhymes, all I could do. And then when I decided to take it seriously was in Perth. And there was a hip-hop competition or a rap competition at one of Perth's biggest nightclub called Metro City. And I was 17 and I auditioned, but I didn't tell them I was 18. And then I won, or I got into the finals, and then I divulged that I was underage, and I said I'd still like to compete, and they allowed me to do it, and told me I had to bring my mom's. So and then as soon as you're finished, you have to get out.
Yeah, don't let anyone know.
Yeah, so they let me go on, and I didn't win, but for good reason. There was literally, it was just all raps, bars and bars. And there wasn't even a hook. It was not pleasant at all. But I actually had people comment on it like years later saying it was cool. It just wasn't set for a nightclub.
Yeah.
So that was the start, and it basically just kind of fell into the next thing, which is just recording, writing more songs, and making, projects and mixtapes. And it's went from mixtapes to making albums and EPs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's amazing what might have happened if you hadn't won that competition or been in that competition in the first place.
Yeah.
Who knows what would have happened?
Exactly.
So who are your musical influences that have helped influence your sound and create it as it is today?
Yes. All right. So there's the top 5, right? And then there was a time where I learned hip hop through people like Tech Nine when I was really young, and then it grew into, once I moved over to Perth, found that it was heavily East Coast driven.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
From the States. So once I started listening to a lot of East Coast, like kind of getting where the mecca of hip hop came from,
Right.
I fully understood and changed how my sound went into more of a mixture between the West Coast, which I was raised from, and the East Coast, which was where it came from. And it basically goes from anywhere between Mos Def, Black Thought, Andre 3000, Tech Nine, Lauryn Hill, E40. These are probably really older generations. But if I was to think of in today's hip hop, that's very influential to me, would be like Mick Jenkins, Bad Bad Not Good. There's a huge list. I mean, Kendrick is obviously one of the staples out there now. But I like to hear the stuff that I can learn from, because I've learned a lot through hip hop throughout my years, and I feel like if you can create something that is enjoyable but also educational, it's just like the best feeling.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
You have experimented with the art form of spoken word, poetry, and even winning the International Songwriters Competition in 2017. Do you believe that this has been influential in your personal sound?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Like, writing poetry was a bit scary because there's no beat behind you. So you have to, they're really only listening to your words. So when you're writing, you want to make sure that you're pronouncing it right. You want to make sure that it's hard hitting because there's no beat to distract you. To say, I don't really most people listen to the beat before they listen to the lyrics. So I think it definitely pushed my pen a lot. And it was actually through a group called Cultural Renegades out in Perth. They're a group of like 10 to 15 dancers, and they fused hip-hop with dancehall. And they asked me to be their poet for the dances. So I would write the poem that was going to relate to the dance they were going to perform. So I had to really like recite it in a way where people can understand and feel what the dance is going to be about. And that's where I've really kind of kept going from there.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah,
The
it's good.
process. So,
Great plan.
yeah, Drift Away, your fourth single this year, was released yesterday, November 17th. So, what was the process like in creating your new single? How did it come about?
It was actually, it started with another beat, actually. It started with another beat, and the beat that Spell made basically he rewrote the beat once he got the lyrics to it.
Oh, okay.
And ideally, I really like the idea of, telling stories through hip hop. A lot of like some of the greatest hip hop songs are storytelling songs. So this one was like my compulsive love in an exaggerated way, like the whole Bonnie and Clyde scenario. But instead of Bonnie and Clyde willingly knowing what they're doing, Clyde doesn't know that he's robbing these banks. It was all Bonnie's plan, but because she will seduce me and tell me that everything's going to be fine, just do it and it's all good. And I just ran with it, And it's like a heartbreak thing because they find out that, the police catch up to us and Bonnie pins it on me. So I feel like I'm telling the story inside of a cell to the cellmates, explaining what's going on and how this happened. And it's just a really cool way of saying I'm a compulsive lover.
We can't wait to see it perform later on as well.
So you've announced your new album will be released in February 2023 named Decial Like Special. How long has this album been in the works?
It's been over 2 years.
Wow.
Basically, I've started with a couple of songs here and there, and I couldn't marry them together, but it was more the birth of it actually came from me recording conversations with my loved ones. So whenever we get into some sort of deeper conversations, I like to record so that I can listen back and process them. I did that with my therapist, I did it with my father, I did it with all. They didn't know I was recording. It was more personally. But as I'm listening back, I am actually connecting the songs that I'm writing are actually about these conversations.
Wow.
So I thought, this is how I'll tie all the songs together because they're not all cohesive with each other. But when you hear the conversation that birthed the track, it makes all the sense as to what it is. So I've gotten all the everyone's permission to use the recordings. I'll put that out first.
I was going to say, was it awkward just whipping out your phone in the
No,
middle?
I would
so at
put
least
it to
they
the
didn't
side,
know.
So I put it here. They wouldn't even know it's recording.
There you go.
And then I got Mickey to put some piano works behind it, and it just runs really smooth.
It's a cool idea, yeah. So what can we expect from the album? Like, have you experimented with different styles, or? Yeah,
even the song with Cle, Drift Away, is more me taking my limits and just trying to press other stuff because I know I can rap. I've been rapping for so long. I want to try some other stuff, and I'm noticing even in today's hip-hop world, a lot of melodies are very prominent, more than the lyrics themselves. So I thought I would try and, birth something new while also sticking to what I like as well. But there's a lot of different genres and different flows and different styles. Even producers from here in Narm all the way to Portugal.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a very, very big range of it.
Can't wait to hear it.
I'm excited to.
So you collaborated with Cle Morgan on Drift Away. Are there any other potential collaborations that your new album you could hint at?
Yeah, there's a huge list. I think there's about 25 people, but I've got Halo Vocal Ensemble on one. The past ones I've done with Nomad, Jimmy Harwood, who you guys have had on before. Johnny P, he's from Perth. Alex Ford, he's also a Perth representative, and there's a few more, but I don't want to. I don't want to say all of them.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting. It's an hour long, so it's not like your traditional 3, 4, 5 song EP. It's a real album. I put everything in. I put my foot in it, basically.
So speaking of Halo, so outside of your solo work, you're a feature MC with the Halo Vocal Ensemble. For our viewers, it's a choir comprised of Melbourne's finest singers. That's been described as putting a modern spin on the definition of a choir. So could you give us a bit of an insight into what you guys do? Yeah,
Leona Tatafu, she is the director of Halo, and she basically have been gigging around Melbourne for the last 10 to 12 years, and she put together the idea of gathering all these individual artists who are talented, doing their own thing, releasing music, and put them in one room, create a bunch of songs and cover a bunch of songs, and, you know, gig that around Melbourne as well. And from then, from the first show we did out in at White Hart. Is it White Hart? Yeah, White Hart Bar. We just did a little section with some drums and everything. Everyone went wild. And from there, we've done everything to Hamer Hall, supporting Baker Boy, and Moomba Festival. It's just such a good vibe. Everyone says they leave a Halo gig just happy and warm and feel good. A lot of friends and family that are in it together, and it's just so much fun seeing their faces whenever we just blow in. It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely have to check out one of those performances one time. It sounds incredible.
Yeah, you guys would love it.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part about performing live?
I think it's my favorite part of the whole thing. Like, recording is horrible. Writing is hard. But when I get to perform it, I actually can just say everything is done. It's complete, and here it is, and hoping that someone can relate to it. Performing is everything. I think that's the main goal of the whole music thing, to me. You know, creating something that people can relate to and performing it live to hope that we can give some sort of joy or break from someone else's, you know, down moments or sad times throughout their, you know, lives, because we go through them all.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Love to relate.
Yeah, so you'll actually be performing the new single for the first time tonight on our show live, which is really exciting to have that on here. So do you have any exciting plans for your new music with the album or with this single for live shows?
Well, I'm going to be doing a lot of gigs with Halo coming up, and then I want to do my own gig. I just want to make sure I give it the right time. Yeah. At the moment, everything is with my son and work and everything. I want to make sure that I can separate it, my own gig to giving it all its time. So at this moment, I've got another single, and then the album will drop, and then I'll see. I think that once that drops, I'll look into doing a show and hopefully having everyone who featured on it come and perform as well, because that will be a game changer. I'd love that.
A lot of work, the amount of people that are featuring on it.
Yeah, everyone. Even making the album was hard enough just because everyone was getting sick, and I had to push it back, and just trying to get everyone to feature on it was hard enough. So getting them to do a show will be 10 times harder.
Oh, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So what was the overall message you want your audience to take away with this track?
Oh, I think it's just if they could feel the love story from it all, like if they can understand how Clyde got in that situation and can relate to that whole idea of loving someone that maybe not be right for you, but still going ahead with it because you want to see where it goes.
Yeah. So how important do you think it is to be extremely vulnerable in your songs and to explore like really intense topics with your music? So you said before that music is essentially self-reflection. So yeah, could you give us a bit more about that?
It's very hard because I don't think that's what's popular in today's world. But I think it is the ultimate way of, the ultimate challenge, I think. You know, MCs and rappers, they tend to battle with other people. You know, they'll sit there and write all the things about them that they think are insecure or whatever the case may be. But to be able to self-reflect is a battle in itself. And sometimes, even though it's uncomfortable to write these things and want to share these very deep secrets, it may do more good than bad.
So your favourite artist at the moment?
Oh, favorite artist? Salt.
Okay.
3 things you must have before a performance. The top 3 things you must have before you perform.
Oh, alone time. Alone time. Air. Like, I need to be cool. Like, it's too hot sometimes in places. And a beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your favourite memory performing live?
It was in Fremantle. I went to book out the Fremantle Arts Center, and I had my wife, who was like 8, 9 months pregnant, jump up and sing with me.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
so special, yeah.
So she was like about to pop. And so I like that I get to bring her up every one of them.
Yeah, pretty cool thing you can do, yeah.
That's it.
So where can we find you on social media?
Everything Strictly D.T. That's pretty much, I've been living by Strictly D.T. for over 10 years now. I say Strictly D.T. because if it was just D.T., it would just be drowned out by all the other DTs. So
Thanks so much for chatting with us today.